Static in the optics, signal in the wire, friction on the threshold, catching digital fire. High frequency phantom phasing through the lane. Zeros and the ones are screaming in the brain. Welcome to the void, breaking the barrier. Welcome to the Sportcat Show. Reality's the carrier. Shift the frequency faster than the light. Sportcat Show, haunting the night. Glitch in the dimension, blurring all the lines. Spectral heavy breathing, ghostly circuit signs. Hyperspeed haunting, neon colored ghost. Welcome to the glitch, we're the ultimate host.
The thunder of Grawl, a rebel transmission, straight to...
Broadcasting across Australia on Dare Media Group radio stations, this is the Sportcat Show, uncovering secret chapters, strange encounters,
and the occasional technical mishap.
Are the hosts pushing the wrong button? One or the other. So welcome everybody to the Sportcat Show, formerly known as the Para Are Normal Guys. If you're new here, hop over on the Sportcat shows in the chat. Join the chat. We've got a great chat tonight. And, well, let's bring my co-host out here first. Bring Allison out real quick. Where is she? There. This is Allison, everybody. Hello, Denise. How are you? Let's see. Who else is in there? Crypto. Welcome, welcome, welcome. KG, welcome. Good to see you. I thought I saw Brenda in there somewhere. So, but I was going to blame Brenda for something. So I don't guess I can. And as Denise says, please come over, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Tell all your friends. We got a great show lined up for us tonight. Two great guests, as always. Allison's been so kind to provide me with a cheat sheet since I'm blind and can't see. Our first guest tonight, Mark, he's here in Georgia with me, and he is a beer expert and connoisseur. And well, then he decided he was going to venture into writing about some cyber stuff. Mark, you'll do a much better job explaining all this than me. So introduce yourself. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, you did a pretty good job there. I've been a writer my entire life. I started out all the way back in middle school, had some really great mentors all through high school, went to school for journalism, completely blew that off, and went into retail for a very long time. And then went back to writing, started writing for education, and not just any education, adult education. I wrote as an instructional systems designer. I wrote the training curriculums that corporations use to train their employees. I've worked for companies like Citibank, Wells Fargo, and up until about a year and a half ago, I was working with the Department of Defense, writing training curriculum for the Columbia-class nuclear submarine project.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Doge came along and I lost my contract. So in the meantime, I have written quite extensively about beer. I started a beer blog many years ago, which is now defunct, but there are bits and pieces of it still floating out in the internet. Got picked up by a newspaper and wrote a weekly column about beer history and traditions. And then my wife said, "You love writing about beer so much. Why don't you write a book?" So I did. Also appeared on television for a couple of years in a local market talking about beer history, and beer traditions. It's something that I've always loved doing. It's in my blood. It's also in my glass.
Well, the microbrew craze started in like the late 80s, early 90s. And so that it was a good time to get into that stuff.
Yeah, it really started picking up in the late 90s. And I used to travel a lot for business. And I'd always tell my friends, I went to this great bar and they had these beers I've never seen before. And just to back up a little bit further, I grew up in St. Louis. I was literally born about a mile away from Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, and lived in the German neighborhoods of St. Louis for quite a while when I was very young. I have immigrant grandparents, and they're all from Germany. So I think I was sort of destined to love beer. So
It's in your blood, your DNA. Yeah.
and my class.
You know, it just reminded me of that stupid beer movie where they went to find their grandmother's secret recipe.
Yeah.
When way you were talking, that
Yeah.
they would probably outlaw that movie today. So
Oh, it's a great movie. I love that movie.
it was.
What the heck is it called?
I know it's gonna drive me nuts.
It's like Beer Quest or something.
Yeah,
something like-
beer party, beer. So yeah,
Yeah, they had all these different beer games and stuff they had to do.
yes.
Do you have a favorite recipe for beer, Mark?
Well, I mean, actually, you know what? That is a great question. And yes, I do. And let me just preface this by saying, when I was writing for the paper and appearing on television is when my wife and I first started dating 14 years ago. And we would go someplace and everybody would know who I was because I was a minor celebrity. This was in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was, a minor celebrity on TV in the newspaper. Everybody knew who I was. They called me the beer guy. And she'd be like, can we go anywhere where people don't know who you are? I'm like, if it's got beer or anything to do with beer, no, everybody knows who I am here. And so fast forward, I literally proposed to her at a brewery in Asheville, North Carolina.
Aw.
Shout out to Highland Brewing Company. I have some friends there that I told them what I wanted to do, and they said, "Oh, yeah, we want you to do that." So at our wedding the following April, the brewery where we were having our reception, I don't know if you've seen a theme here or not. They allowed me to brew a beer for our reception. That recipe was a 12.5% triple IPA that we called Honeymoon Wrecker.
Yeah. I can
So
imagine.
to this day, it's still my favorite beer. I've only made it one other time since then because it's a very difficult beer to make, obviously, because it's such a high alcohol beer. But yeah, to this day, it's kind of a sentimental and favorite.
Awesome. That's awesome. You
Yeah,
definitely catch the beer theme all the way through the whole.
All the way through. Yes.
Yep.
All the way.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me ask. You didn't name any of your kids after beers, did you?
No. My children are all older. They're grown. They were grown when I met my wife, and they're from a previous wife.
We've all been there. So,
Yeah, but it's just a matter of how many times.
yeah. It's well, how many times you want to lose a house, a car? It's sometimes it's just cheaper to buy them a house and say, here, just so.
Right, exactly.
Allison's like, wait a minute.
I'll just find a tree.
Get a tree house guy. So yeah, that's I tried 3 times to brew beer, and we made a summer shandy that was lemonade.
Yeah.
And
Actually Shandies they actually came about in Germany, and the story goes that there was an inn in the mountains in Germany where bicycle riders would go by all day long, and they would stop at this inn for beer. I mean, it's the national drink in Germany. And what happened was they ran out of beer, or were running out of beer. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's like Saturday afternoon. Everybody's going to stop by. So they had a bunch of lemonade. And they took that lemonade and they put the beer in it. They called it a shandy because shandy has something to do with the bicycles. So that's where that came from.
Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, it was that was the summer shandy, and it was probably the best beer I ever had. I will never do that again. We started off cheating with vodka and lemon heads.
Okay.
And So we made it extremely high proof.
It would be, yes.
Yes. And then my friend and I were still new at this. I don't do it anymore. The wife had one of those, if you remember, they were soda machines, and you put your water in there and it mixes it, and you put the bottle up there and it carbonates it.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we would try that with beer. Luckily, it was at his house. When his wife woke up and there was beer.
Did it go boom?
Yes. It did.
Yeah. I've had one or two issues with beer going boom before.
Yeah. Do not carbonate beer that way. So,
No, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all.
well, 2:00 in the morning, kind of bored. So, but well, once again, my history. We like to blow shit up as firemen, so that's what we do.
It's true. Set things on fire. I have a story about, and just so everybody understands where I'm coming from, my father was a firefighter, and we were on vacation as a family in Washington, D.C., and he decided it would be a good idea to not go to a restaurant and eat that night. So he got the camp stove out of the car and brought it up to the hotel room. There's a hotel in Washington, D.C. where I am still banned.
Oh, wow.
Curtains go up fast, let me tell you. Yeah, Washington, D.C.
Oops.
Yeah. And that was probably back in 70s. Then that happened.
I'm impressed. He not only had a memo written about him, he got banned from a hotel.
Yeah, no, it's not the first one. I mean, I've been banned from a hotel in Asheville, North Carolina as well.
Good Lord.
That one was beer involved, but
well, they usually are. As long as you didn't set anything on fire.
There was no fire. There was a lot of yelling, but there was no fire.
Mark, you sound like the kind of guy that you would have sit at the end of the bar and talk beer. And I don't know if you watch sports too. So
I like baseball. I am a Cardinals fan as long as I'm not at a Braves game with my wife and they're not playing the Cardinals.
Gotcha.
So I like the Braves, like I said, as long as they're not playing the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, we have our own rivalry too. I grew up in Washington D.C. area and then moved to Tennessee, had a 9-year mistake, and then came here to Atlanta. And so when growing up, we only had the Baltimore Orioles. So that's always been. Of course, they suck after Cal Ripken left.
Right.
So then I moved here and I kind of fell for the Braves. So, but yeah, if the Orioles are playing, I have to cheer for them. And shout out, I'm sure Andy is watching. He's a huge Orioles fan. Chris is he's our guy in Chicago.
Cardinal fan. What are you throwing your eyes up on there for? Chris.
Oh, wait a minute. We have to ask. Are you a pizza guy?
Pizza. Oh yeah.
It's very important for Chris. Thin
Pizza.
crust.
Yes.
Thin crust or
okay. So
crust or
I grew up in St. Louis, and St. Louis's pizza is very super thin crust. The main pizza place there is called Emo's, and they make a pizza that is like cracker thin crust with a sweeter sauce, and the kind of cheese they have on it is called Provel. The only way I can describe it is if provolone cheese and Velveeta had a baby, it would be Provel cheese. It's smooth and creamy. It's really, really good. So anyway, the place was called Emo. So I do like thin crust pizza, but I do like just about any pizza. A good New York slice you can't beat, especially one of the dollar ones at one of the places up in New York. You know, grease going down your arm.
Oh yeah,
you can't beat that.
So we have an Allison. Are you a thin or thick crust, deep dish? What?
Anything that I worked at a pizza shop when I was younger, so I got kind of spoiled, and I got to play with the Sbarro's pizzas. I liked to make the stuffed deep dish pizzas. Those are my favorite ones because it's pepperoni and sausage with bacon on top. But just regular pizza, I normally like to get thin crust, like supreme or just pepperoni.
All right. Well, I think you both may have passed the Chris test. So.
Chris, did you pass?
Passed his test. So Chris has been with me since the beginning of the show, and that's one of the few things that gets him excited if we start talking about bad pizza. So being from Chicago. Well, growing up, did you have friends that worked at breweries, or did you have any association with the breweries up there?
In St. Louis? No, really didn't. However, I mean, coming from a German family, my grandfather would have a keg of beer in the basement. He'd send me downstairs with his beer stein and have me bring him up some beer. And sometimes he'd give me a little cup, ask him to tell me to go ahead and get a little bit for myself. Of course, my mother didn't like that a whole lot, but that's okay. It was okay. I grew up right on the cusp of when they changed the drinking age from 18 to 21. It was one of those, darn it, situations. So we would drive across the state line over to Illinois, where they hadn't changed it just yet, and get our fill over there and bring it back home. But growing up, beer stories, that's really the biggest ones. There's really not a whole lot of those. It was later in life when I started traveling and talking to my friends about it. And when the blogging craze started to come around, and sort of what my friends said, hey, you're always going out of town. You're always talking about these different beers that you had at these places. And why don't you write about it? You like to write. You're a good writer. That's what you do for a living. Why don't you do that? So I did. And it turned out it was pretty good. It went very well for quite a long time.
Well, you still update it, don't you?
I don't do the blog anymore. I always told myself when it stopped being fun that I was going to stop doing it. So I really don't do the blog anymore. I really enjoy talking about it. I really enjoy the book that I wrote about beer. It's and we can talk about that a little bit in a bit. But I don't keep the blog up anymore.
Okay.
It's still out there. It can still be found, but I just don't keep it up anymore.
Okay. Well, sometimes you just got to stop. So
it got to be a chore, And
it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. And when something becomes a chore, then it's just not as much fun. I still like to consume, as you might have noticed behind me, there's quite a bit of beer on that shelf right back there. And that's not the only shelf of beer. There's more over there. So I'm always coming home with another bottle, and my wife's like, you're never going to drink that all. I'm like, but I have it.
That's exactly what I thought. Yep, but I have it.
Better to have it than if you need it than not have
Exactly.
it when you want it there.
I've always said it's better to have and have and not want. Something like that.
Yeah. Snowstorm, take out power.
That beer.
You're going to survive. You're going to survive.
Because the snowstorms here are so awful.
Yes. Allison, you probably aren't aware since you're on the West Coast, but Atlanta has a horrible history with snow. Like a quarter inch. No, I don't even know if it was a quarter inch. It wasn't much. Shut down the entire city for like a week. People were literally in their car calling 911. I was on telling I'm going to die in my car. Please come help me. And we're like,
they called it snowpocalypse.
Yeah. It was crazy.
I wonder how they would handle a snowstorm in Spokane, Washington up north.
They would not do well. They would not do well. We had several earlier this year, and they were closing the schools down like 2 days in advance.
Yes.
It's like, what? I mean, growing up in St. Louis, man, we still went to school and work unless there was like more than a foot of snow, It was like, we're still going.
Yeah.
I've driven in 2.5 feet of snow to get to work back when I worked up north.
Yeah.
So maybe the roads just weren't ready for it because, every state, the roads are made a little differently. I don't know, but that's sad. A half inch.
It's the
half inch.
Oh, the funny part was they had all these big committees afterwards. In the county I worked in DeKalb, they had them, they were highlighted. Well, how many snowplows did you have? 2. We don't get stuff. So what was funny, they said, all right, well, we need more. And they spent like millions of dollars buying all these snowplows. And then after a while, they were like, we need money. We're going to sell that shit. So we're due for another snowpocalypse.
Yeah. And they had like 2 boxes of Morton rock salt.
Yes. At the fire department, we were more prepared. But literally, the people, when you rescued them, they would be like eating Snickers bars in the back of their car in the fetal position. It's like, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Chris is he was up, or he's in Chicago area, and they had tornadoes. So Chris hasn't had power for over a week now, so he's a little touchy on that subject. So
how much longer till he gets power back, do you think?
He messaged me earlier and he said there was hope. He saw a truck today. It was from Tennessee, ironically.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm curious now. That's sad. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, they got hit hard. So, yeah. So you can survive on beer. I mean, you know.
Hey, monks did it.
Exactly.
Monks. People have thrown the term liquid bread around, and that whole story, the whole story of that, it is mostly false. But the popular story is that during Lent, monks had to fast, but they were allowed to drink liquids. So they put together a couple of kegs of beer and took them from Germany through the Alps and everything to Rome to let the Pope taste it and make sure it would be okay for them to have that during Lent. Well, the story says that during that whole trip, the beer went bad and tasted terrible. And the Pope said, yeah, you can drink that during Lent. It tastes terrible. It's like, there's your penance right there. Okay. So it's a popular story, but it's really not true. There's really no evidence that it was true, but the monks did brew a beer called Bock or Doppelbock, and it's a thicker, richer beer made with more malt, and it's a sweeter. It's got more calories, more alcohol, and even a little bit of protein in it. And they were able to use that during their fasting periods to sort of get by. There's been several people that every year there seems like another person pops up that says, I'm just going to drink beer the entire Lent period. And they do it, but they don't come out the other end the same. But but people can do it. It actually can be done. It's not really very good for you.
I would be grumpy. I'd be hangry. I wouldn't be able to do that. I get hangry. So yeah, no, I gotta eat.
The Catholic tradition was pretty strict back then.
That is true. That's very true.
Back in the 1700s, 1600s.
And then the Britons changed the recipe because they were on the ships and it was going bad, so they came up with their own. And that's
IPA. I was hoping you were going to bring that up. Actually, so the story of IPA, the popular story of IPA, is that because the East India Company was shipping beer over to India, that they needed to find a way to make it last longer. So the brewers knew that hops were a natural preservative. We now know that hops are antibacterial. So they're like, well, if we just add more hops, maybe it'll let the beer last longer. So the name IPA started to be bounced around. The thing is, that's not the way it happened. That's really not what happened. Everybody thinks that, and that's the story that everybody hears and believes, but it's just not true. There's a lot of mythology involved around beer. I mean, it's a mythological beverage. It makes you happy. There was a song, I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. But really what happened is the pale ales of the time in the Burton region of England, there were so many people making it that several of the brewers were trying to outdo each other. So they were trying to make their beers stand out. So they were adding more hops to it. It was sort of a side effect that they found out, that it made the beer last a little bit longer and travel better. So when it got to India, it was still drinkable.
Okay. Did not know that. Yeah.
I feel like we're on Mythbusters for beer today.
No, I mean, if you know the history, please enlighten us. And then, well, even here in our country, during the Revolution, of course, Washington was known for cider.
And beer. He made beer as well. He has there's actually a recipe for beer that I believe it's in the Library of Congress that he hand wrote. And you can actually remake the beer from it. It's not going to taste like anything you know to be beer, but it is beer. And back when, colonial times, the things you needed to make beer were very hard to come by. Barley didn't grow very well here in the United States. Hops don't grow very well here, except for in the Pacific Northwest. I'm sorry. Up in that area, hops are great, but nobody knew that was over there in the colonial times. So they had to come up with different things, and they were finding things like spruce tips, cedar, fruits and vegetables. They were using it. I've seen recipes for artichoke beer.
Oh,
that is not something that I want to drink.
no.
It's great as a dip, not so good as a beer. But Washington was known for making beer. He made beer for his troops. Jefferson is known to have had a brewery at Monticello. However, he did not do the brewing. And there's a lot of controversy behind that because his slaves did it. Mm-hmm. And the controversy, and of course, there's a controversy on that. So, there's a whole thing on that. But there's a lot of colonial history around beer and brewing and what they had to do to survive, because you just couldn't drink the water. It just wasn't safe to drink. And one of the ways that they got around that is with beer. Parts of Europe, it was wine, but a very large portion of it was beer. The northern parts, it was mead, honey wine. So beer was a very important part of the history of beer of America. One of the major reasons the Pilgrims landed where they did is because the ship they were on was running out of beer. The sailors were, they're like, y'all need to pick a spot because we got to have enough beer to get home. And we're running out. And that rock over there, that looks like a good spot. Go there. And that's what they did. I mean,
all of our ancestors were drunks.
Yeah, they kind of were.
Sounds like it.
They kind of were.
That's how we won a war. We were all drunk.
There's a lot of stories about, beer and alcohol and everything. I mean, one of the anthropologists believe that beer is one of the reasons why civilization started, because before we were all hunter-gatherers and they were nomadic. And in order for beer, you had to have a crop, you had to cultivate it, you had to harvest it and everything. And in order for that to happen, you had to stay in a spot. So you had to become civilized, and you had to work with your neighbors, and you had to do all that. And they believed that beer had a large part of that. Beer played a large part in the building of the pyramids. There's a popular story that says that the slaves were paid in beer. Beer was certainly a staple. It wasn't that they were paid in it, but they had beer back then. One of the first known songs ever written down is called the Song of Ninkasi, and it's about a beer recipe. So beer it's very much the story of the world.
Chris says they started a revolution over tea tax. Their beverages were very important.
They were. England taxed not only tea, but they taxed all the ingredients to make beer, which is why a lot of the colonials looked for other things. They used corn. They used other things that they could find to make beer.
And then when the Scots got here and got in the mountains, we got moonshine.
Well, they brought their beer with them too.
Yeah,
they have beer as well. They have some very good beers.
Yes.
I actually have a beer sitting on my shelf over there called Armageddon, made by a Scotch brewing company that is 65% alcohol.
Holy cow.
It's the second most strong beer in the world. It's not the first.
Have you
They
ever
might
tried-
as well just named it Blackout.
Yeah, you don't chug that one. You don't,
No.
you don't
I'm
chug.
not I'm a chugger, so I'm not allowed to touch that. That's all on you guys.
Oh, when I was a flight paramedic, we went to Denver and overnighted. And not only is the air higher, their beer concentration is higher.
Yes.
We went on a beer tour. I wanted to go to, oh gosh, it's going to kill me now. It's the one with the Bigfoot in their Scotch ale. And I can't think of the name of the brewery. Damn it, it's going to drive me crazy. Well, I intentionally went there. Turned out they were having a pizza and beer. If you pay like 20, you get 2 pint cups.
Was it
And-
Oscar Blues, by the way?
No, it wasn't Oscar Blues.
Because Oscar Blues makes a really good Scotch ale.
Yeah. Gosh, that's going to drive me nuts. At any rate, the nurse didn't like it. So I was like, well, I'll take yours. And then, the pilots were like, I didn't like. Holy crap. It hit me all at once. So Denver and high alcohol beer. Yeah, it didn't go well. So
High altitude will get you. Alcohol and altitude is it's a dangerous combination.
yes, it is. So, well, how the heck did you transition from these tales of beer to your novels and your stuff?
Well, I've always been, as I said, I always was a storyteller. I always enjoyed telling stories and putting stories down to paper. But when life started to happen, I had, my family came about, my 2 kids, my 2 beautiful kids that have given me 4 beautiful grandchildren. Shout out to the whole family. I kind of laid it all aside and I did writing for work. And it's when I started writing for beer, I started to see that I'm telling beer stories now. Why don't I go back to the fiction that I enjoyed spinning, the stories I enjoyed spinning when I was younger. And during COVID, I had plenty of time to sit with my thoughts in my house, looking outside, thinking, there's a story. And I wrote my first novel, which I wanted it to be a series. I actually have a second book that I've started for it, and it was called The Squeeze Saga. And it's about a virus that wipes out about 70% of the world. And it's called the Squeeze because it is a form of COVID that attacks the lungs and the muscles of your body and makes you contract and not able to breathe. Yeah. So that's why they called it that. And it's sort of it takes place all here in North Georgia. And it's sort of a road story because it takes place with 2 different groups that are trying to get to a safe haven. And they finally meet up. And of course, there's, government bad guys and stuff chasing them. So there's all that. That was my first one. It was okay. I enjoyed writing it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try something else. And I started going on and started getting more ideas. And I just started writing and outlining and getting ideas and gathering my thoughts. And I'd hear a news story and think, oh, that would be interesting. Or I would hear a snippet of somebody talking somewhere. And I'm like, oh, that might be an interesting story. And I start going down research rabbit holes and just coming up with ideas. My second novel is much more fleshed out. It is Veil of Divinity. It's this one right here. And it's the story of sort of a science fiction thriller, mystery, mythological, somewhat spiritual story. Kind of a Dan Brown with a little more mythology and spirituality thrown into it. The premise is one day a volcano in Iceland starts to erupt, and these strange symbols start appearing in the sky. This propagates all around the world. It leads to a 47-second blackout of everybody in the entire world, with a few exceptions. Everybody in the entire world during their blackout saw the same woman who said the same thing to everybody in the languages that they understood. So everybody had the exact same vision, and they all understood it because it was in their own language. How could that be? Nobody knows. So a very skeptical journalist starts investigating it because he remembers something that happened to his mother. She was deemed to have gone insane, but some of these symbols that are appearing in the skies, his mother used to scratch on the walls in their kitchen. So it's a connecting of the dots. There's a subplot where the Vatican knew about these things and were hiding it. And it's got a lot to do with, in the end, we, as a human race, we have to make a decision on what the next step in our own conscious evolution is going to be. So I don't want to give away too much, though.
No,
So that is that's Veil of Divinity, which really I enjoyed a lot because again, rabbit holes, just going down and finding out about the different religions and mythologies. It follows a lot of Norse mythology, Norwegian mythology. There's references to a lot of the Norse traditions, the Tree of Life, and all of that. So, and then finally, the one that I just released a few months ago is Malware, which is the beginning of a series. As I was writing it, I liked the main character so much that I decided I was going to put together an entire series about it. And this is just one of those, like they say on TV, ripped from the headlines type things. And what happens in Malware is a CIA analyst is doing her job, looking at data packets coming through and making sure that there's no issues with them. She cried wolf. So everybody's sort of a little bit hesitant when she says, hey, this doesn't look quite right. And turns out she's right. And there are bad actors trying to infiltrate our data networks and take over our data networks as a cover-up for something that they're trying to do in another part of the world. But that doesn't at all sound like anything that's happening right now.
No, not at all. Infiltrating systems is, it
never happens.
To get meta verified now, show your ID so they can't do it.
Right.
But that's now. When did you write that book?
Pardon me?
When did you write that last book?
I started writing it like last November, and I published it. I believe it was April or May when it came out. So the second book in the series is drafted. Now I have to go through the laborious process of rewrites and edits. And it is going to tackle the subject of social media and mind control.
That's a good idea. Have you ever thought of producing any of your books into movies?
I would love to. If there's any producers or anybody out there, please call me. My phone is always available to you. Something that I've been playing around with lately that I really, really enjoy is episodic stories. So I got this idea a while back that said, what if I made super short stories, just 3 or 4 pages long, that had, all of the tension and everything that a regular story has, make it super creepy, but also have a through line think like something like X-Files, the television show X-Files. So if I made this little episode and it has all of these different pieces, some of the episodes are mythology episodes, and some of the episodes are episodes that just are monster of the week type episodes that don't really carry on the mythology but carries on the story. So I have this book, this series that I'm putting out right now called Threshold. And so here's the thing. I know you like to talk about ghost stories and stuff. The very first episode of this series tells a story of a woman who has a very strange occurrence. Well, the woman is me. It's not a trans thing. It's just, I just changed the characters to protect the innocent. But the story is something that is a recurring dream / memory that I've had since I was a child. And it has to do with, I'm lying in bed asleep and I suddenly wake up and there's a light coming in from underneath my door. The door opens and there's a figure there. I can't really see it, but I can see that they're very tall and very thin. I cannot see its face. As I'm there, I'm trying to yell for my mom, but I can't because I don't have a voice anymore and I'm paralyzed, so I can't move. While I'm lying there, 8 little beings come out from behind the other guy and circle my bed. They lift my bed up and carry it down the stairs. That's usually where it cuts off. I've had that dream and that memory my entire life. It's scary. It scares the crud out of me all the time. But I decided to make a story out of it. And I mix in a lot of different things. I've currently written 4 seasons of 12 episodes each. And like I said, these are very short stories. You can read the story in 10 minutes or so. It's only 3 or 4 pages each, but they build to a larger story and tells a much larger tale, which will come to an end at the end of season 5 that I'm halfway through writing right now. So that's my ghost story, which I have turned into something else.
Do you think it's ghosts or aliens?
Pardon?
Do you think it's ghosts or aliens?
I don't know. In the story, they're entities. They're not aliens, and they're not ghosts. They're entities. But I don't know what they are. I really don't. And I know exactly where I was. I know exactly the house we lived in. And this was when I was a very small child. I clearly see the house, and it was the house that we lived in St. Louis City, in the German neighborhoods of St. Louis. I remember the yellow awnings on the house. I remember everything, very, very small details. I could never see the face of the entity. And it goes into some interesting areas.
Well, that story's not uncommon. I mean, as far as we'll call them abductees, because that's what
Right.
And the first part you described is like a sleep terror.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never experienced that, that's where you're awake but you're asleep and you can't move. You're in a nightmare.
Right.
So very horrifying. And yeah, that sounds like wow. So you never woke up with any marks or anything on you, did you?
Not that I can recall. And my parents don't have any recollection of anything like that happening. There was no reason for the light to be bright underneath my door like that, because it was just the landing. The right outside my door was the landing at the top of the stairs, and there were no bright lights there. It's just the landing light. So there was no reason for it, and it's to this day I can still remember it clear as day.
I wonder what the foundation of the house. I wonder what the house was built over?
That I do not know, but it was in St. Louis City, the south side area of St. Louis, in the areas around the old around the Anheuser-Busch brewery. There are several caves underneath that area. Anheuser-Busch actually used those caves for refrigeration.
Smart.
So yeah, interesting stuff. A little freaky, a little scary, but yeah.
But you don't have the dream recurring anymore.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, still do. Still happens. Ask my
frequent?
wife. I'll wake up screaming, sometimes flailing.
Been there, done that. Yeah. It's funny. A lot of times it starts as a child. Yeah. One of the most terrifying one I ever had. We were camping in a very remote location. We were off-roading, very remote. We were the only ones going around. My buddy worked for a 3-letter agency and he wanted to just get away. So we were up in North Carolina by a creek, and me and him, we had a fire. We had everything going. And I was in a tent cot, which is basically what it sounds like. It's a cot with a tent over it. Went to sleep. I woke up and I knew something was outside to my tent. But I couldn't tell what it was, but I knew it was out there. And so I went to move. I couldn't move. The tent lit up like there was the brightest light inside of the tent. And at some point in time, I gained control over myself to enough to, I was like, I go, screaming, because as you're coming out of it, your brain is telling you you're calling your wife, your mom,
Right,
your dad.
yeah.
What you really sound like is like,
Right.
Your brain isn't all synced with your body yet. And Buddy works for a 3-letter agency, jumped out of his tent with his pistol, was ready to start shooting stuff. And as soon as I heard him call my name, this frog with a crown on it came through the side of my tent, looked at me, and went up to the light, and it all went, whoop, and I was fine. I did not camp for 2 years after that.
I thought you were going to say the frog said, "Bud,
But
wise."
I'd have been happy with them. Would have welcomed them. Strangest thing, we went to bed. We had this huge log, and it was hollow on the inside, and we were going to use it to burn at night inside the fire pit, because we knew it would burn up and fall in and wouldn't cause a hazard. It wouldn't roll. It was down by the creek.
Interesting.
Yeah, my buddy's like, yeah, we're getting out of these woods. but that story is very similar.
Yeah. It's stories like that fascinate me because of that experience that I've had, and mythology and mystery and those kinds of things. They all kind of interweave, and it's just something that really interests me. Also, consciousness is something that's fascinating to me. What makes us know what is around us, or why is that yellow? Why is that smell like it does? What in us gives us the ability to differentiate all that. And a lot of my stories have bits and pieces of those questions in them. Is this experience I had part of a consciousness that is there? It certainly, to me, it feels real. Did it really happen? Is it something that got embedded? I don't know. Is somebody trying to tell me something? So I just sort of took those ideas and ran with it and did this serial. And I've been putting it up on Reddit in the stories subreddit. So if anybody wants to go out and take a look at it, it's called Threshold. And I've put up the entire first season so far and the part of the second season.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. You'll have to send me the link so I can post it in the show notes as well.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Allison, did you have any questions about aliens or anything?
Oh, aliens? Well, we lived by Fairchild Air Force Base when we were younger, so my mom had quite a lot of things she thought she'd see. But I can't pick her brain anymore and ask her questions. So it's up to Google and YouTube for me to look anything like that up, more information on any of that. So aliens and mostly conspiracy theories. We kind of grew up on those. So
those are also much fun.
We had an author on, oh man, it's probably been 3 months now. And probably one of the most, it was called The Hush is the name of the book. And he claims that he's worked for a 3-letter agency. He was a fighter pilot, astronaut. And of course, names have been changed, the innocent, blah, blah, blah. He's, what do they call it? A whistleblower. And I won't give the movie or the book away, but that was one of the few books after I've put it down, it changed my vision on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And he entirely believes that there's a race of aliens that not only live amongst us, they live under us. And he says he has proof in this book. So if you get a chance, read that one and your life will be changed. Your life will be changed after reading that book. And of course our government knows all about it. Shocker. So
the deep state, you'll never know.
No. They'll come get us before we figure it out.
Men in Black.
Yeah, exactly.
All the block cameras. Now they can't.
Oh yeah. Hey,
they know our every move. If it's not the flock, it's these. So.
We're in Atlanta, where their headquarters are. So yeah.
Deepwood says, have either one of the others seen lights or orbs? I had an amazing experience a couple weeks ago. Yes, he did actually. You ever experienced any orbs, either of you?
The only time that I haven't seen them myself, but I did see them in a photograph I took. I was in New Orleans and they said, this is one of the most haunted places on the face of the earth. And it was an alleyway. I just took a picture of it and there were several round orbs in there. My wife is a big believer in that. And she's like, that means that, those are souls or entities or something of that sort. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to say I believe, but I'm not going to say I don't either, because, strange things happen.
Absolutely. Any experience with the orbs?
The old Kodak cameras. The old Kodak cameras, the old, disposable ones. I remember taking pictures, and I was taught that, the little lights in some of the photos, like if we took, pictures of the backyard by the barn, those were, either ghosts or entities, or souls even, that were showing up in the pictures. So I was definitely taught that at a young age as well. That's what, was showing up on the actual film whenever we would have it, processed, brought back.
Glenn, how long have you been in North Georgia?
We moved down here right after 9/11. So
okay, you've been here quite a while. Have you ever been driving through, particularly on the mountain roads at night, and saw a person on the side of the road that when you looked again they weren't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That happens here a lot.
Officer that had the body or the traffic or whatever you call it, the dash cam of the Bigfoot.
There. There's a tradition or a mythology in the Appalachian Mountains from both the Cherokee Indian and the Appalachian settlers called the keeper tradition. And some of these entities that people are seeing are said to be the keepers, and they watch over the land. A book I'm working on right now explores that.
Keepers like gatekeepers?
Sort of. They keep they keep the land. They keep the land safe. So sometimes people will say that if you see something on the side of the road, a person on the side of the road, and you look again and they're not there, that those are keepers.
Okay. That's a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
Some say that the Bigfoots, when footprints disappear, they go into the trees.
Mhm.
Or they turn into orbs,
Mhm.
which I can't deny with some of the things I've seen. Missing time driving up in War Woman,
Right.
and can't explain it. But yeah, I believe in all that stuff. I don't know that our government's ever going to come clean though about it. I really
No,
don't.
I don't think they will either.
I think I've always said if they come clean, that it would ruin society because of religion. And as much as people hate to admit it, our country, our world is built on the back of a religion, whether your God
Right.
hates this God or the other God or whatever.
Right.
But if you come out and went, yeah, none of that exists, we made you and we're from Mars, the society would probably collapse. So that's kind of mind believing. So
The Catholic Church has come out and said that Catholicism does not exclude the notion that there could be aliens.
yeah. Well, this most recent Pope, or the current Pope,
Mhm.
he said that he hopes to be the first Pope to baptize a alien.
That would be awesome at a White Sox game. At a Sox game, yeah.
We'll have to brew the beer.
I would happily do that. I would brew it with the baptismal water.
Oh goodness.
I like where you're going with that. Mark,
Holy beer.
that's right. We have a huge following in Australia. So is your stuff available down under?
It's available on Amazon, so Amazon's available down there. So yes, they can get it down there as well. I enjoy Little Creatures beer from Australia, so shout out to the Australians.
Okay.
I do not drink Foster's. They don't drink it either.
I was going to say that's they don't either.
No.
So, and well, I guess that's a whole other story. I went to Ireland, and people in Ireland were paying $15 for Budweiser, a pint. What is wrong with you people? So Mark, if they want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Well, I really don't have a whole lot of social media, which is something I really need to get on. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up my name on Facebook. I'm there. I am not on there very often. I try to stay away from social media because, it's mind control. And I do have a presence on Instagram and on TikTok, but like I said, I'm not on there very often. Your best bet is just to email me or find me on Facebook.
Okay. For anyone listening, that'll also be the show notes. Probably not tonight, but I'll have it up by the weekend. Yeah, $15 for a bud should be considered a war crime. So, when you get your next book published, you're going to come back and join us?
Absolutely. Would love to. Should be later on this year.
Okay. All right. And you're local. We may get together and have a beer. So
I would absolutely love that. Get and tell some more stories.
Oh yeah, we've got
I
plenty.
got
of
lots of them.
We do. Mark, have a great evening. Thank you for sharing your night with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. It was fun. I would be happy to do it again anytime you'd like.
Okay. And Allison wasn't too mean to you either. So
No, she was fine. All those things you said in those emails about her, I wasn't sure. I was a little worried. Yeah. She doesn't look like Cruella at all.
We'll talk later, Allison. So don't worry about it. Mark, have a great night.
All right, y'all. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I would never talk bad about you, Allison. Promise. So
It's okay if you get grumpy one day and do. Everybody, whenever we get old and senile, it'll happen at one point in time in our lives.
wait a minute. Are you saying I'm old and senile?
No, but you can become that way one day. So could I when I get older.
It's probably a lot closer than I'd care to admit. Everybody, that will be the show notes, WRFN, WZQR, and of course, Dare Talk Radio. And everybody, please hang around for hour 2. If you're listening on either of those stations, they'll be up in a second because we've got a second guest for you.
Broadcasting across Australia on Dare Media Group radio stations, this is the Sportcat Show, uncovering secret chapters, strange encounters,
and the occasional technical mishap.
Welcome to everybody to hour 2 of the Sportcat Show, formerly known as the Pair Are Normal Guys. If you're listening on WRFN or WZQR, please go back and find our first hour. It was a great episode with Mark Wisdom. And as always, we have 2 guests. We run 2 hours on Wednesday night. And this second fella, well, he's an East Tennessean, and that's kind of how I stumbled upon him. And, well, his name is Robert, and he's got quite a history, and then he's got a history of building his own planets in his own world. Let's bring him out. Robert Brady. Robert, how are you?
I'm great. I'm here to save you from being called old.
You're a wizard.
There we go.
So, Robert, I probably did a horrible job. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Robert Brady. I'm a former Navy guy. I was a naval nuclear reactor operator. I was on the USS Truxtun during the Gulf War. I wanted to be a writer my whole life. It kind of, it's something I kind of dabbled in off and on for a while. I have 2 great kids, Jennifer and Bill. Like you said, I live in East Tennessee. I used to live on a 7 acres with horses, but I've kind of toned that down to just like about an acre with nothing, except for my Cane Corso. I'm a professional programmer. I write software for a living. Right now I'm working on a really cool AI project. So we're expanding out on that.
Oh, was
I'm your all-around guy.
What's that?
So I'm your all-around guy.
I was going to say, is AI going to take over the world like we're all afraid?
We'll let you know when we're about to.
When you hit the enter button, I'll be the last call. Got it.
You're behind the operations.
When Sportscat all of a sudden has different heads while the thing is going on, you'll know we're in charge.
Great. I have to watch out for you and Allison. Holy cows.
How many different coding languages do you have to learn in order to work on an AI project?
It's mostly Python, which is an older language, and usually something like C or Next.js for the front end. The back end and the front end of the program are 2 different aspects of the same thing, but there's ways to go around that too. I'm also mostly a C# Microsoft kind of guy.
Is it a lot similar to DHTML coding, but just more like the calculus of DHTML?
Kind of. HTML is hypertext markup language, and that lets you. That's what we're using right now, so we can see each other. And there's a logic in the code that uses that to produce our images and show them as they move, and to through use of a codec to actually give us motion and speech and video. So everything kind of uses that, or it would work, but you couldn't see it.
Okay. Awesome.
Did you realize both of you just spoke Greek to me? So.
I don't speak Greek. I speak Russian, Spanish, Latin, and a little Cherokee.
Good Lord. Yeah, if I have a computer problem, I call my son. So
Actually, I learned Cherokee for part of the book. Part of it is I wanted to create different people in the book, and I wanted to base one of them off of Native Americans. And it's kind of funny because the culture I wanted to was like the Sioux, but I didn't know enough about the Native Americans to do that, right? So I learned from the Cherokee, and I had friends in the tribe, and they taught me Cherokee, and we played Cherokee games, and I was telling them about the book, and like, no, that's not us. That's not even close to us. You want the Sioux. Like, oh my, because they'll never teach me Sioux. I mean, if you are a guy with blue eyes and you know some Indian language, you got a story to tell. They are not quick to share.
Yes.
So I have Sue who speak Cherokee. That's the way my book is.
Well, don't mess with Spearfinger. She's in the Appalachian Mountains of with the great Cherokee lore. So,
all right.
She's a witch who eats kids.
Oh wow! Oh, my ex-wife.
Definitely Navy.
I was going to ask, did you have sub duty or were you topside the whole time?
I was a topsider. We kept our service to dive ratio 1. Which is always good. I was on. They used to have nuclear cruisers, and I was on one of those, but they don't have those anymore.
Oh,
you can
do
run
you glow
like
under a black light?
Say again.
Do you glow under a black light?
No, but my daughter was 3 feet tall when she was 2 years old, and
Interesting.
was able to. Yeah, she was able to. She read The Hobbit to herself in 3rd grade.
Wow.
So yeah, there are enhancements. Awesome. It was funny. She was born a month after I got the worst dose of radiation I ever received. So, so super radioactive Superman sperm went to work and created her.
Well, I guess you got good genetics.
Right. Well, we made them. Yes.
Superhuman.
She'll be a superhero. So, how did you go from writing all this technical stuff to world building? I mean, I can see the organization pattern, right, because with the code and stuff, all that language I just don't understand, but I understand everything's got to be logic and organizing in a place. Is that what transitions you into the other?
Nope. There's this game called Dungeons and Dragons that you might have heard of, and a few people play. We had an amazing dungeon master and an amazing game of Dungeons and Dragons when I was growing up in the 80s. When I went to college, I really missed my friends. And I created the first level of the book, the first version of the book while I was at college. And worked very hard on it for like a year and a half. And I thought, hey, I should go and submit this. And I sent it off to DAW, and I got a letter back actually 3 months later. And it was very frank, very short. You suck. Your writing is terrible. Give up.
Stay in the Navy.
In no uncertain terms. Your professors have ruined you, and you will never recover from it. Well, you either die or build. What Nietzsche said: "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, even if it's a rejection letter." And it didn't kill me. So I looked at it, and he said, and I kind of had to agree with everything he said. So I trashed it, and I rewrote it again. And then by then, I was getting out of college, and I went into the Navy. And I put it at my mother's house, and she threw it away. So that having happened, I started again. And, I worked on it while I was in the Navy, and, left it with my ex-wife one time when we deployed, and she threw it away. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're Monty Python fans, but it's kind of like the Swamp Castle. And that fell over and fell into the swamp. And then it fell over, burned, and fell into the swamp. But, the final version that I worked on, it was right after I had been working on it again before 9/11. And before 9/11, I tried to start my own software company. And then I had like $50 to my name on 9/11, and all my clients just bailed on me. And I really had this driving need to live indoors. I really wanted to do that, So I created my own website. I started to release chapters of the book one at a time on the website, along with these little program widgets that I'd write, and I would sell them, and they would be peppered through the book. And lo and behold, people really started to get interested in the book. I had thousands of people who found that thing online, because then, ebooks weren't that rare, weren't that common, Yeah. And they'd buy my widgets, and I would eat and live indoors. So, someone actually came to me and said, well, you should take that and you should publish that, because that's a good book. We've really enjoyed it. So one book turned into 2, book turned into 3, turned into 4, and then an intermission series turned into 5 of the intermission series. So there's 8 in total.
And still counting.
No, it's over. It's a completed series.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't want to be like Dragon Riders of Pern, you know. And Anne McCaffrey's an amazing writer, but there are just too many. You know, it's almost like you're getting to the point of plumbers of Pern and accountants of Pern, and you know, it's just too much. You know.
But the fact that you had to rewrite it so many times showed genuine perseverance to actually get it out there and for it to work, and you be able to, you know, live indoors and eat. That's awesome. Yeah,
living indoors and eating, I can't say enough good things about that. You know, that's you know, but yeah, you know, the Naval Nuclear Power Program is a really hard program to get through. 66% of the people who apply fail, and the people who make it through are not necessarily the smartest or the most gifted, but the kind who are just too stubborn to give up. And I'm an Irishman from New England, so you know, we don't give up.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're going to work on more novels now, right?
I'm working on one off and on right now. It's called A Whistle in Space. Do you ever watch those TV shows on the History Channel about like ancient aliens and all that kind of stuff? I took kind of a composite of that and said, well, what if we really were pre-settled by by an alien race, and then they were to come here and my version of it, which I'm working on, they come here and actually ended up abandoning us with certain artifacts and things that are around here that we're left with. And it kind of writes the pre-explanations for those.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And I like that TV show. I like that guy's hair. You know,
A buddy of mine that's big into that swears that we are the prisoners and cast off from their worlds that they didn't want. So they send the Earthlings here. So that's how we were founded. I don't know.
Oddly, that's the premise for the movie Stripes. You know?
You know,
we are the wretched refuse of every our ancestors got kicked out of every decent country in the world.
Well, what did I do to drive everybody nuts to get sent here then? I'm just teasing.
It's true. If you want to appreciate being an American, leave America.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, you go to places like, for example, I was in Hong Kong before the Chinese took it over, and we went to the Hong Kong 7-Eleven, and there was a 3-foot or like a 13-foot high pile of garbage outside of it, and as we were walking by it, it moved, and you're thinking, no, I don't want to meet those rats, you know. Well, we jumped away from there. That pile of garbage was home for 3 people, and that's how they lived.
Yeah.
And our idea of poverty is something that most countries will never even aspire to.
Yeah. Yeah. As a flight medic, I got to see lots of the world, and I think it actually made me a better human being for it. You know, it's the sandbox. That was very interesting when I would go on missions over there. Yeah. Luckily, unlike you, who was probably deployed for months, I was there for 48 hours in and out. But yeah, people just don't realize the way things, we take it for granted. Is
we
really
do.
What.
Yeah, people just don't know. They haven't seen it. So they don't know about it. So they'll complain about something and not realize it's much worse in other areas.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
It's a concept.
I'm convinced we have a whole generation. If we took away their internet, they would probably wither up in a corner and die. So.
Yeah. The ultimate torture for a Gen X is to give them a treasure map written in cursive and a car with a manual transmission to get there.
It's got to be an Allison.
Yeah. There's a story in Atlanta about a group of young kids that tried to carjack a lady, and it was a 5-speed, and like they got like 20 feet down the road, and they got out and took off running. So.
Yeah, I believe that.
I believe it too, sadly.
In Tennessee, you know, where there's more country stuff, there are more tractors. Tractors are all manual. The kids here can drive a stick.
Oh yeah, if you were carjacked in East Tennessee, you were carjacked. So.
Yeah. In East Tennessee, if you're carjacked and you live through it, you're a hell of a guy. Yeah. I wouldn't tangle that guy at all.
Can you guys imagine a dementia patient jacking a tractor?
I don't ever see anybody jack a tractor. I've seen someone try to steal one.
Well, like just a
my
dementia
guy's
patient.
dog.
Mhm.
Say again?
Yeah. Like a dementia patient, they think they're going to go super fast, and it goes 6 miles an hour on a D6.
Oh, I know. It's true.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Are the ones that get me are the DUIs and or the DWIs on tractors and
Oh, the lawnmower guys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Goodness
It's a
gracious.
thing.
I was in Florida. Before 2008, and one of my neighbors actually got in trouble for riding his riding lawnmower, drinking beer.
Florida.
I think he beat the rap, but I'm not sure.
America.
America.
What the heck brought you to East Tennessee, though? You've been around the world, and why'd you settle in East Tennessee?
I love East Tennessee. East Tennessee is the best place to live in. Unless you're from California, you'll hate it. Don't come here. No, or just know if you're in California, you're right. You're in the best place in the world. Stay with your politics. Just
I'm from Texas, and I was raised in Washington, though. I just happened to be
Oh,
here.
really? Oh, Washington. I love
Do I
Washington.
get a pass to come to Tennessee down the road one day if I wanted to?
Sure, I'll take you horseback riding anytime you want to go.
Hell yeah. I might take you up on that one day.
Yeah. When I was writing software for Boeing, I was in Everett, Washington. And Boeing has the biggest factory in the world. And they can stand 19 planes nose to tail. And I was working there writing software for them, and I had brought my Percheron mare up with me to Arlington, Washington. And I would go up there and ride her on weekends and Wednesday. It's the best riding in the world. I mean, it's just amazing, the scenery. We would go to this tree nursery that was up there. We would ride through that, and that benefited the guy who owned the nursery, because if something was going on, we'd see it, we would report it, and then we got to ride this acres and acres and acres. I mean, I'd go up for 4 hours with my dog and my horse, and it was just amazing.
Is that what you do for relaxation?
Yeah, not so much anymore, but yeah, I used to really love to ride. When my daughter turned 13, she started to notice boys, and I said to her, "How would you like riding lessons?" And then boys could just be forgotten for years. It was one of the smartest things I ever did.
Good job. Great
Yeah,
job.
and now she's a saddle fitter.
Genius.
Oh yeah, that's her life. She's a really very good saddle fitter. But yeah, I've always said that horseback riding teaches a young lady poise and courage and responsibility, and how to handle a hormone-driven animal that outweighs her.
I had never thought about it that way.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
So you don't own the ranch, or I don't know what the terminology is, the horse farm anymore?
got the tiny little farm in Tennessee terms. Yeah, I don't have that anymore. It's out in a town called Blaine, and I ended up selling it a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah. I worked on an ambulance in Blaine. Yeah. Know all about Blaine. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Blaine is great.
Yeah.
And yeah. If you were to look at it now, a lot more urbanized than it used to be.
Oh, I've been gone since 2001, and I come back and drive through there, and I'm like, when did they put this four-way in at the crossroads? when did this happen? Wait a minute.
Wow.
So yeah, it's grown up quite a bit. So traffic sucks. Not as bad as I love hearing my friends in Tennessee bitch about traffic. I'm like, you understand? If I'm going to visit my neighbor down the street, I'll leave an hour early. I mean,
Wow.
Atlanta traffic sucks.
Is it worse than Dallas?
Well, I've ridden in Dallas. I've never driven, but yeah, I think Atlanta's probably got some of the world's worst drivers. And unfortunately, as Robert was saying, a lot of them are migrating here from not only other parts of the world, but California as well.
Yeah.
Notice I put my priorities in there. So
I was wondering where half the crazy people went.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to Houston, though.
No, they went to the Air Force.
Yeah, they're here. So there's not a lot. Well, the part of Georgia I'm in, just east of Atlanta, when the wife and I moved here, it was fairly rural. But once again, that was 20 years ago, and now we're considered part of Metro Atlanta. So, and it's like Mom up where she lives in Coreyton. You know, it's still rural, but it's not like it was growing up. So, you know. So.
If I go back to Connecticut, where I grew up on a farm in Connecticut. Now it's condos. You know, that's the only thing they grow there. And really, really, really angry women with purple hair.
It says AFK would say it's not worse than Dallas. That's bad.
Oh, that's bad. That's horrible.
I was trying to keep a straight face when I read that. I'm like, really?
Sometimes you just never know what they're gonna say.
That's true.
But it's hard to get off that topic. Oh man, but no, I have a true appreciation. In fact, I'll probably be up there real soon with Mom again. So we moved from Washington D.C. to Halls. Yeah, I think you probably know.
Oh wow, yeah, I know Halls is.
Yeah, so that's where I spent a lot of years, Halls High, and so then of course got older, like you said, discovered what girls were. Settled down. We tried to move back. My wife is from Washington, D.C. We tried to move back, and not only did I no longer not speak their language, I couldn't afford anything up there. So, the county I was born in, I started in the fire service in, is the wealthiest county in the country right now, Fairfax County, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
So it's right outside of Washington. My grandmother's house that we spent a lot of time in growing up, just recently I saw it on the market for like $1 million. I'm like, that's a shack. I mean, of course they've upgraded it, but I'm like, that's nothing. And it's unbelievable. But I the wife and I are gonna come back to Tennessee at some point if I can ever convince her to do it. So. And of course, I still got Mom's old farmhouse that to take care of. So I'm up and back and forth up there a lot. I love East Tennessee as well. Sometimes I'll go up there and it's like I'll be there for like 2 or 3 days, and I run into like 50 people I know from high school or from wherever, working the ambulance, wherever. And I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. It's too much. It's true. It's a small. I mean, even it is growing, but I guarantee you and I could name names, and within about 15 people, I'd know somebody that knew them, or you'd know somebody. It's just the way it is up there. So,
speaking of that, one thing that's unique about Tennessee that you will, because I've been to every state in the union except for Alaska. I've driven through them all. It was part of being in the Navy, and ship would deploy. My wife would want to go home to Florida. We'd drive back there. We'd drive back to wherever. Well, one thing that's unique to Tennessee is that people give directions based on where things used to be.
Yes. Yes.
Like you go down the road past where the Johnson's house burned down, and where they cut down that tree, you take a left there. No, not your first left, your second left, because your first left, they'll shoot you. Your second left, and past where that gas station and is now something else, I'm not too sure what. Yeah, down there, and that's where you'll find that thing you're looking for that you've pretty much forgotten about now, because you're so confused by these directions. Yeah.
And I learned there's a difference between a yinder and a yonder.
Oh yeah, yonder. Yinders are right over here, and yonder's way down there.
Yonders are right up ahead. A yinder's right here. So.
Yeah. And you understand to know that before you come here.
Yeah. When I worked at 911, so it was pre-GPS. It was very interesting in Union County. So that should tell you something right there. Yeah. And then getting on the ambulance, I'll never forget, we were responding to an emergency call. We couldn't find this place on the map. The radio wouldn't get out. There was no GPS at the time. My partner, God love him, but probably as country as they come, lights, sirens still going, sees a guy on the front porch, slams it in park, jumps out, runs up there and says, I'm looking for Bob Smith. He's having a heart attack. Oh, you get out here, dude. He's like, gotcha. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, we're going to get shot. There's no way we're going to get shot right here. This is it. Got us to where we were going. I was like, okay. So, yeah, it is in, I learned as a paramedic, if you're on a bad scene and for some reason in the middle of the night, if there's a car wreck or whatever, the entire family will show up. I don't know how, this is before cell phones. I don't know how that happens. And I learned in one of these emergencies when I was a brand new young paramedic, never ask, are any of y'all kin? You're going to get, everybody will raise their hand. I'm like, okay.
When I moved down here, my daughter was a freshman in high school, and she comes back for her first day, and wow, I'm so popular, honey. You're just not anybody's cousin.
Wow.
And a couple of days later, she goes back, she's like, "You were right. They're all related."
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's a question you never ask.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my partner. He same guy, country, laid back. He used to tell me just flow because I was a brand new paramedic, and he was always zippity, and and my Yankee would come out then. My Northern Virginia, when I got all excited, he just like flow. We're on this motorcycle wreck. This dude's messed up, and I'm trying. There's no lights. There's no help. We're off the road and God knows where. And I look up and there's all these people. And before my partner could stop me, he was trying. God bless him. I did. Are any of y'all kin?
And for the next hour, yeah.
And I freaked out. I left the bag that had all the equipment in it. And when we left, and my buddy or my partner was like, it'll be okay. I know them all. They won't take anything. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah. True stories.
I might visit, but I don't know about moving now.
That's great. People are super friendly.
It is, yeah.
You go to a sit-down bar and you just start talking to strangers like they're cousins and friends. And it's great about that.
Yep. Last January, I went out with some friends from dispatch while I was up there taking care of my aunt. And I've got a number from a guy by the name of Robert, ironically, was moving to the Loudoun County, and we got to talking at the bar. I was a paramedic there, and he still texts me to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. I tell my mom, and I get on my mom, God love her, but she'll go into Kroger's. Well, Kroger's sometimes, but Food City usually. And she'll just start talking to people, or Walmart. And I'm like, stop that. Don't do that. Because you don't do that in Atlanta. So just don't do it. Not a lady stop and ask me to get something off this top shelf. And I'm like, you're talking to me? She's like, yeah, come here.
You're talking to me. You're talking to me. You must be talking to me because I'm the only one here.
Yeah, Chris, as I would say, they're extremely friendly if you have to ask the kin question. Yeah. Now, have you sampled the moonshine? That's
oh yes.
Good.
They don't give it away for free anymore in Pigeon Forge.
Oh, really? They stopped that?
Yeah, they stopped giving away free samples because you'd go to the different places that do that, and by the time you're done, it's like I don't need any more alcohol.
Yep.
Right.
I'll be lucky to make it home.
Yep. So what are your future plans aside from writing books? You just gonna hang out, or are you gonna do something else, or
for now, I like I said, I write software. I'm just kind of banking money away for retirement, and then I'll probably write full time. Writing, I mean, when I first came out with the books and actually went and started to publish on my own, I went through Amazon, and they were very popular for a long time. I mean, I was paying my mortgage with that, no problem.
wow?
Then I went into somebody convinced me to use their publishing house, and their publishing house did nothing. And suddenly I would have people talking to me about the books, but I'd show no sales, so that didn't work out. Broke with the publishing house, and it really never got its momentum back. Kind of funny, before the beard grew in and I kind of looked more like the picture on the back of the book, every now and then someone would recognize me, and that'd be kind of neat. You're in a, you wrote the Phobian Chronicles. Yeah. What did you mean? One thing that's really funny, this boy, I used to write for this company called Volo, and they were one of the first people in online telephony. And so I took that technology and put it on my website. You could click it and you could actually talk to me. And that really drove sales, because if you can talk to the person, Well, this one boy, one young man, he goes ahead and says, I want to do a book report based on your book, and will you help me out? And I did. And I talked to him for a good long time online. Well, 2 weeks later, he comes back and he's like, you rat bastard, I got a C. You didn't tell me the truth about anything. Like, no, I told you what I did. No, my teacher says it's all wrong. No, I pretty much told you the whole truth of the matter. So he puts me together with his teacher, and she thinks it's kind of cool to talk on the internet too, because it was kind of a new thing. And I was, talking to her about the different things. Like the guy had, he's a former Navy guy who is dishonorably discharged, and he is giving up on life, and he's traded he ends up being tricked into going into a world where there's magic instead of technology, and he's got to try and make his way for his under a new patron god. And we're discussing that, and I'm telling you like the different allegories and what things. No, that's wrong. I wrote the story. I'm pretty sure that's not wrong. Oh no, you're not even close. Really? Yeah, the author never knows. The author's blind to these things.
What?
Yeah, and she meant it. She's like, you're making me wonder if I should have even given him a C. Like, wow, I shouldn't do this to this kid. It was just stunning to me how people read. She was actually kind of like writing her own book based on mine. Not in real life, but like in her mind. So I that kind of stuck with me since, how people will read your stuff and like just get something completely different out of it.
Yeah.
They might even misunderstand a concept and turn it into something else. You never know.
Yeah.
I guess
Like the lyrics of your favorite song, and you find out it was wrong for 15 years,
I hate that. I'm still trying to figure it out if he says, did I kiss this guy? I don't know. So
excuse me while I kiss this guy? Yeah.
Yep. Allison's like, what? Yeah,
we were talking with a Navy man and a firefighter, so I mean, that's all on you two right there.
Well, we were talking about our music at one point at the bar, and I came up with the term. I said, well, when it gets down to it, kiss rocks. And this guy looks at me and says, why would someone want to kiss rocks? I know. And there was this band called Kiss, and that was their whole thing, is kiss rocks. Yeah. So
yeah.
I was like, wow, I have aged. I have, the expiration date is off of this container.
Yeah, when our music is now on the easy listening channel.
I know, you're in an elevator. It's like, whoa, I went to that concert.
That's right. So
Yeah.
True story. Yep. I went to a Pink Floyd concert. I'm guilty. So
Oyster Cult, I went to their concerts. I saw Ozzy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. We waited in the snow, in the freezing rain and snow for 3 days for Ozzy, and we're picking ice out of each other's hair, and my dad pulls up. He's like, is this where you've been? I said, I told you I was going to wait in line for Ozzy tickets. You didn't mention 3 days. Well, I wanted to get a good seat. He's like, get in the car. Smell me, Dad. Do you want me in your car? I don't know if they're even going to let me on the bus. All right, well, what do you need? And he went out. Actually, he was cool at that time. He went off and got us a pizza and brought it back, and we ate the pizza, so we weren't starving near as bad. But those were the days of $12.50 tickets, too.
Yes. Yeah. There's several $100s now, so it's outrageous.
Oh, I know. Louder than life in St. Louis. $1,000 for VIP tickets.
See, to me, that should be a crime. It really should. I mean, I understand everybody's gonna make their money, but come on, really?
Yeah. Well, it's 4 days. It's 10 hours a day. Alice Cooper did not phone it in when the 3 times I went. Alice Cooper played all 3 times, and he actually did not lip sync.
Really?
Oh yeah, he still sings it.
Wow.
So that was worth seeing.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, Allison probably doesn't know who Allison Cooper is. So.
I learn stuff as I go. I'm trying to remember all the names and stuff. I'm learning.
Okay.
School's out for summer. School's out.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you tell me a song, I'll recognize the song, but I won't recognize the artist's name. Yeah, you could tell me I'm talking to somebody famous and I won't even know about it. We'll probably be, talking about bonsai trees or something else, and a week later I'll like, oh, okay, I see who it is now. But I'm not a name person. I'm remembering this music person, but when it comes to names, I've got to really work on that one of these days. It's hard to remember names.
It is. I've been guilty of that on the show. I'll look up and call the guest the wrong name. Like, oh yeah, so sorry about that. So that's next week. So well, we got you on short notice, which I really appreciate because we had some cancellations and stuff. We've been talking back and forth for a while. And I had researched out on the internet and I thought, this guy's really cool. Plus he's from East Tennessee. So I didn't realize at that time all the Navy history and that you glowed in the dark. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
and
the lights are off in this room.
What's that?
The lights are off in this room. Yeah.
Oh gosh. And you rescued animals or rescued horses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did horse rescue for a while. Animal rescue will break your heart.
Sure.
You've got to be a tough kind of person to see what people will do to some poor animal out of their own neglect or meanness. We've got one here. She's 13. I got her when she was 2. Her name is Layla, and she's a mixed lab. And she spent her first 2 years tied to a tree. And that was her world. The tree, the chain, and occasionally the dish with food or water in it. And I took her, and for the next 2 years, all she ever tried to do was escape from me. Because, she's off the chain, so that's your time. It took a good 4 years just to get her to not run away at the first. And she's a black dog, so that dog runs away at night. You're not going to find her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My current dog, Ginger, she was a rescue. I think she came up during one of the hurricanes down in the South, deep South. Mm-hmm. And she was wandering around the streets. And of course, animal control got her and she got placed with a home, somebody to take care of her. And I'm still convinced she is hungry 24/7. And I am convinced, I've even talked to the vet about this. I'm convinced she was afraid when we picked her up because she didn't have hair, she had allergies, and she had all these problems. And of course, it took us a while to get her straightened out, like you were saying. I'm convinced that she's still afraid she's going to not get the next meal. And that's why she always wants to eat. And the vet's like, I don't know about that. I said, I'm convinced because there is no way I'm starving my dog. There's no way. And she is always famished. So...
Does she save her food for later instead of eating it?
Oh no, she dives in like it's not going to be there in 2 seconds. It's crazy. Okay. So yeah. And then I'll fill her bowl back up, and I'm like, okay, slow down, Tonto. you gotta stop here sometime. Yeah, the vet's like, I think you got to cut her food back. So
my son's corgi is like that. If she sees food, she will. If she can't eat it, she'll guard it from the other dogs. And she'll face down the Cane Corso, and those are kind of big dogs.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I think the last few animals or dogs my wife and I have had have been rescues. And the funniest thing is, and I grew up around, my uncle was a veterinarian in Halls, large and small animal, went on calls many times with him growing up. They have a different personality, and It's funny. They can read you sometimes even when you can't figure yourself out. It's the strangest thing.
Right.
They're our gift. They really are. I don't know why. I don't understand how people can do some of the things they do. So
No, I know exactly what you mean. I had a Belgian gelding, and it belonged to this woman who just loved him and, you know, broke him to ride and treated him really good. And she lost him in a divorce to her husband, and everything he couldn't do to her, he did to that horse.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah. And when I met him, I went and put my hand through my hair like that without thinking about it. And he saw that hand come up, and he jumped a good 6 feet from me.
Wow.
And yeah, I saw more airtime off of that horse than a fighter pilot trying to get him back in line. But he was amazing to ride. He was like, if you look at the book, on the back of the book, you can see a picture of him. And on my website, which is swordsandsorcery.com, you can see a picture of him.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw a picture with you and a horse. Go ahead, Allison.
He's
I'm
got
sorry.
Palomino.
Oh, no, I'm definitely gonna. I want to go look at it. Like as soon as we're done, I got to go look at that now. I want to see this now.
Yeah, he's a great horse, and that's the thing. You have a different relationship between like a horse and a dog. I mean, a horse is something you ride the horse. You have a different type of bond with the horse than you do with the dog. I mean, the dog is sitting there, and for the first minute he meets you, he loves you, and after the first hour he knows you, he'll die for you. You know, and the horse isn't really like that. But the horse is more like any challenge that you're going to put in front of him, he or she's going to meet it with you. You know, you're going to go to new territory. You're going to go to unexplored things. The perch ride that I took up to Washington State, we were coming back on a trail, and it was getting late. And I didn't want to be on a black horse in the dark and coming home to the stable. And we took a shortcut that I knew of but had never been on before. And this shortcut was about as wide as a dollar bill. And we're going down a mountain, and she got spooked and took off. And I knew at the end of where this was, there was a sharp turn that she was not going to make at high speed. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to bail off this horse, and I really don't want to do it. And it's funny because what happened is she saw the dog come back off the trail. The dog would run out in front of her and scare off anything that was going to spook her. So when she saw the dog, I guess she thought she was safe. And she tucked her butt and slid down the rest of the thing on her butt and her hindquarters, and did not end up going over the cliff. So I did not live the Arlo Guthrie song, the pickle song.
Yeah.
That's another one you have to look up, Allison. I'm sorry.
I'm just wait. So wait a second. So the horse could have slid off the edge of a cliff?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's Washington State, very mountainous.
Oh, okay, okay. Like whenever you're going up to the state parks, those giant okay, all right. I was thinking cliff. I wasn't thinking of to me, those are just the dirt roads to get into the parks.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
so,
this isn't like the Appalachian Mountains where like when you fall down the mountain, you just get up, dust yourself off, and go on and do your next thing unless there are rocks at the bottom. This is the Rockies where, if you have, not only are you falling, you have time to consider how much it's going to hurt before you actually hit the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yep. There was a nurse hiking in the Colorado Rockies not long ago, and was like 4 or 5 hours in, tried to catch themselves, fell on their hiking stick, which if you know anything about it, they're pointy on one end, drove it through at his chest, came out at his back. And of course, being a nurse, he checked himself. He's like, okay, not bleeding, still breathing. And his buddies are wanting to call 911. And he's like, who's going to come?
Yeah.
And they had to walk 4 hours out with this stick in there. Yeah. So, yeah, he's telling the truth. And then when they got to the parking lot, his buddy's like, all right, we're calling 911. He's like, how did we made it this far? Just drive me to the hospital. Another 2-hour drive.
Wow.
So,
I when I was riding in Florida once, I got thrown and I broke my ribs because of the way I landed. And the horse took off. So I had to walk all the way back 2 miles back to the stable where the horse was. Well, now you get back there. What do you have to do? You have to get back on that horse.
yeah.
Because he doesn't understand broken ribs. He understands if I don't want to do something and I throw you, I don't have to do it anymore, then I win. And you can't let that, once you get that into their head, you cannot get it out of their head. So yeah, I had to throw a leg over a 17 two-hand Belgian gelding. Yeah. I saw a lot of stars, boy.
Yeah, you think so? Whenever did the pain numb out for a little bit at least? Like your body kind of numb it, or did you just have to feel it through the whole thing?
Broken ribs or something where, especially like this, when your ribs break on the side, if they don't puncture your lung, it's one of those things where like there's nothing you can do but let them heal. And it's going to hurt, and there's going to be like one position with about an inch of tolerance that you can sleep on where they're not going to hurt. You know? Everyone's like, well, you need to go to the doctor. And do what? I know I'm not bleeding, so they didn't puncture my lungs, because I'm not coughing up blood. They're not going to do surgery on me and fix them. They're going to wrap my my chest, which I can do, and tell me they're going to tell me I have broken ribs, which I already know. So I'd get $500 to deductible to find out.
Yeah.
So I ended up toughing it out. So again.
It's from something that you already know how to do from home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing you learn in the Navy. If you can crawl past medical, do your own good medical.
On your ships, how many people were there usually?
On the Truxtun was a destroyer-sized cruiser. It was actually supposed to be a destroyer, but they had extra money, so they turned it into a nuclear destroyer, and then they upgraded it to nuclear cruiser, but it was like 450 people. My second ship was a tender. That was the ship that goes out and tends to the needs of other ships, and that had a couple thousand people on it.
Oh, okay. So it was pretty big.
Yeah.
Because the aircraft carriers have like 5,000, don't they?
When the air wing is on board, yes.
I mean, there's no way possible to know that many people.
You'd be surprised. You know the people on your ship. I mean, you might not hang out with every single last one of them, but that's your ship, and you tend to like recognize the people on your ship. It's you have to kind of be in the Navy to understand it, but you know your shipmates.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My dad was on the 67, the first Kennedy, and he was on the very first voyage. There's a name for it. The very first time maiden voyage, the very first time it went out after sea trials, and of course he was on it during sea trials too. I guess he was. I'm not sure on that. And he took everything that anybody would ever say about the Kennedy. It was like you were punching him in the throat. I mean, that was his ship, do or die. Yeah. I mean, and of course I made fun of him because he was a DJ. That was his MOS. I don't know. It's like journalman or something. I don't know, but that was what he did. He was a DJ. They have radio and TV stations, and
of course it's radio and TV.
Yeah, he was the DJ for the original 67 when it went to was it the Bay of Pigs? I think it was the Bay of Pigs, wasn't it?
In 67, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because he was like, they were scared to death, and was like, on that. You were scared on that. So I always had a respect for that. And now that the Kennedy is about to be back out, I'm like all excited. So he's passed away, so he hasn't he won't know anything about it, but I'm like all excited. I'm like giddy about it. So I'm like, that's so cool. So because I still got some of the original books and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I would have never told him. I wanted to be a coastie, so which is an insult to a Navyman. But I wanted to do the rescue, so the pararescue stuff. So
Coast Guard has dangerous stuff. Go ahead, Allison. I'm sorry.
I'm not a service member. Like I've never been in the military, but we did get to go to. There's a USS Lexington and Corpus Christi. And that's the only one I've gotten to see close up because it's more set up as like a historical, like, hey, tourism thing. Those hallways are so small, like to get up and down the stairs and then turn. It's like a maze. How do you remember where to go on that thing? And that one's not even a big one.
Well, there are yellow bullseyes throughout the ship that tell you what frame you're on, what deck you're on, and what and something else. It's been a while since I never actually got to use that on the Truxtun, but it was small enough where you could just kind of figure it out. The guys on the aircraft carriers are masters of that, and they'll find their way from point A to point B just by using the bullseyes on the decking. I guess it's what deck you're on, what frame of the ship you're at, and then how deep you are, how far you are from the exterior wall. I think it's how that breaks out, and that's how they find their way.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That would have, I would not have, it would have taken me way too long to remember how to get from point A to point B. So I'm okay with them not taking me whenever I wanted to join up. That's totally fine. I'm too directionally challenged sometimes.
Yeah.
Before I ask you the paranormal question, I've got to know the big controversy right now about the Abraham. They've been out for 200 and some days, and I realize it's a long thing. Do you think it's as bad as the media is portraying it?
Oh no! First of all, they're not jumping off the ship. That's crap.
Yeah.
People do fall off the ship.
Sure.
But
maybe get thrown.
Or maybe get thrown. Like for example, if you were a thief, you might go for a swim. They will not tolerate a thief. If someone gets caught stealing on a ship, they put 2 guards on that guy to keep him alive, so that they can get him to. You just don't do that, and it's very rare that it happens. But what's going on with the Abraham Lincoln? It would suck to be out for that long unsupported. I've done that before. We call that when you go out. I was a West Coast sailor, so we were in California and Washington State. So when we went out, it was a Westpac, a Western Pacific deployment. We'd go out on a drug search to support the Coast Guard. We call that a crack pack. And we went out for 67 days unsupported once on the Truxtun to look for drug dealers. Coming back to Hawaii, they served us for breakfast chicken omelets. Chicken omelets are a crime against God, But those poor cooks are going to go up to the pearly gates, and St. Peter's just going to say, "Not you. I know what you serve those guys." But, they're like, "Hey man, eat this or eat the plate because that's what I got." When you are out that long, stuff runs out. It's a pain. You're living on powdered milk, and it's terrible. The food, normally, actually, the food is usually not that bad. Those cooks, they're like my son was a cook in the Navy. I blame all of my problems on it. Just the thing is, you've been staring at the same steel walls for the longest time. And sailors are a bunch of pranksters, we'll make fun of you. Like, God help the guy who comes on board the ship and says, guys, I'm really sensitive about jokes about my mom, so please don't do that. It's like, let the games begin.
Yeah, while you're walking, you just set yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're just making more out of it. And I mean, it's a different generation, obviously, and it would suck to be gone from your wife, your kids, your mom, your dad, your dog for that long. But I got a friend that was a sub guy, and they got stuck under somewhere they probably shouldn't have been, doing something they were supposed to do. And they sat and was absolutely silent for over a month. Now that would drive me crazy. Dark, quiet. They walk around in sock feet. Yeah, and they don't eat real well on a sub. And he's like, I'd do it all again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So,
well, also for all these people who are saying, the sailors on the Abraham Lincoln are killing themselves, over 1,000 servicemen killed themselves under the Biden administration.
Yep.
Never in the news, never talked about. Seriously, did not seem to bother these same people.
Nope.
I was off grid during that time, so I didn't get a chance to write any articles during that time. But
I still think stats are like every 20-some minutes, 22 minutes, military servicemen, either active or retired, takes their life. Still, present. Yeah. So it's a stat, and it's horrible the way they do our guys and gals. But a lot of them, like I said, they do it all again in a New York minute.
Mm-hmm. I refer to it as the stupidest thing I'm ever glad I did.
It's like me in the Fire Academy. I'm with you. Robert, before you go, I ask everybody, gosh, we got Allison is new. She gives me this organizer and list of questions. And at the end of the show, she's like, he didn't ask any of this. Have you ever had a paranormal experience, seen Bigfoot out in the woods or anything?
Well, I grew up in Connecticut, and that kind of is a paranormal experience.
Oh, yeah.
We grew up, I spent most of my growing up years in a house that was built in 1735 in Glastonbury, Connecticut. It was built by a guy named Isaac Mosley. If you were to go to there and say the Isaac Mosley house, there are two of them, and they're right across the street from each other, and everybody knows exactly what you mean. You would be sitting there in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, the cabinet door would open. And there's no one near it, and there's no wind, and there's nothing. It would just open. And you'd see this happen, and a couple minutes later, it just shut. And we'd say, hey, Isaac, sit down with us, have a, take a load off. And it was an odd thing. I'm sure that you could explain it by, heat coming on, heat going off, wood expanding, contracting. These were the old wood, shaker type of actual wood cabinet. So I'm sure there was some explanation for it like that. But we always just figured it was Isaac coming around and making sure that we weren't keeping anything that we shouldn't have had. And every now and then, you'd be someplace in that house, and it would really feel like someone was looking at you. And you just, and then it would go away.
Just like an overwhelming.
Just like before someone's going to come up behind you and go boo.
Yeah.
You're just aware of it. Your spidey sense kicks off like 2 seconds before you do that. It'd be that feeling, but it'd be protracted.
Whew. Well, you don't live in a haunted house now, do you?
No.
Okay.
If the liquor started to disappear, I'd wonder. But
no, that's your neighbors.
Or the dog.
Robert, where can we find your stuff and we have a huge following down in Australia. Where can we find your stuff, and how can Australians get a hold of it?
Swordsandsorcery.com is my website, and you can read all about the book. The book itself is about a man's. Have you ever heard the argument, why does God let that happen? And if God wants us to do this, why doesn't he tell us? The book is really about that. It's about a guy who can actually speak to his God, and how your life would be changed, how you would actually end up living in a world of absolutes if you could actually know God's will. And that's why faith is actually more important than proof. That's kind of like the gist of the books. It's about there's some themes and all sorts of other stuff that goes on in that too. But swordsandsorcery.com. The books are all available on Amazon. You can either do listen online, or you can get them on your Tinder, or you can actually buy the physical books.
Okay. So if they want to get in touch with you too, they can message you there.
And, right through the website. You can't talk to me on IP telephony anymore, but you can still send me an email.
Okay.
I answer all my emails. Also on Facebook, it's the Phobian Chronicles. If you look up the Phobian Chronicles, you'll go right to it.
Okay. And all of that will be in the show notes. It won't be tonight, probably tomorrow or the next day. It'll be by the weekend before it goes up on WRFN. So you're going to come back and visit us again later, right? When you get your next time. All right. And I might message you and tell you I'm East Tennessee, and we'll go have a beer. So.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll take you to the Wild Boar. It's great to have you.
Okay. I'm going to say I don't know where that one is. So, okay. Robert, have a great night. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day for us. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. This was fun. I really enjoyed it.
All right. We will do it again. Yeah. I'm trying to talk Allison to move to Tennessee. So.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, if she likes older guys, I got another reason she can move here, but yeah.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, Lord. All right, Robert, have a great night.
You too.
We will see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Okay, that was great. I gotta say that was great. For my radio listeners, if you could only see the shades of red that Allison is. So, all right. Well, we've got to sign off on that note. Allison is busy searching for 2 guests for next week's show, so to be determined who we will have next week. But I will be on the Thin Line Rock Station tomorrow from noon until 2, spinning records and talking trash. And then, of course, Brenda and I are off tomorrow. She has to go get something done to her coochie or something. I don't know. So she is off tomorrow. So we will be back on Friday. So if you've listened to my show long enough, you understand. So Allison, you got anything going on, or have we totally run you off? So
You can't run me off. I'm squirrel.
all right. Well, everybody have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Dare Talk Radio in Australia, WRFN and WZQR. We will see you soon. Check me out on the thinlinerockstation.com. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Sportcat Show.